All. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining the second event organized by WWT. So WWT Bangalore chapter has organized the second event, which I'm glad to announce that. And coming to WWT, it's a global community for women software testers, and it's initiative taken by the TechWell Corp. And the purpose of this group too is to network and leverage the experiences of one another. So, community, as I said, it's a global community. So we have chapters all around the globe, and I'm very, proud to state that Trident has encouraged us to start the chapter in Bangalore. So myself, Shruti, who is a chapter leader for Bangalore, and will be the host for the day. And coming to Trident, Trident has 25 years of experience in enabling the clients to overcome its limits. So Trident was established itself as a go-to digital platform and Trident has served over 500 clients with deploying more than 600 of applications. So Trident is featured in 10 most admired companies to watch in 2020 by Insight Success, and the 10 most trusted software development companies. So I request you to join the WWT Bangalore chapter and get the use of it, grow together. Like we can grow together as per the goals of WWT. So coming for the topic for today, it's about getting started with security testing and getting better at it. So we know that the software development industry is growing day by day. So the task for us is how to secure the applications, whatever we have developed. So like coming to the market for today, we have a greater demand for security testers, but unfortunately the supply is less. So today we have our speaker Santosh Tuppad, who is the MD and CEO of W2C Labs, who is an intrinsic, motivated, and passionate software tester whose specialization is in security testing, and he has love towards exploratory testing and automation. So he has become an hacker at the age of 16. So he has variety of experiences through hacking, and he loves to speak today about this transformation from unethical hacker to ethical hacker. So thank you, Santosh, for accepting the invitation. We welcome you for the event.
Thank you. So shall we get started?
Yeah, without any delay, I would give the presenter rights to you so that we can get started for the day.
Awesome, thank you. And thanks for the great introduction, and thank you, Women Who Test. And thanks to Trident Software as well. I hope I pronounced the name really well. And going forward, the first thing what I would encourage you to do is, can you please look into the poll section, and whenever you get time, answer them. Select an option from 2 questions there, and that can really help me. I'm not quite sure if are they available, but
yeah. Santosh, I will launch the poll, so people will be attendees will be getting a minute to answer them. So once they answer, I will be stating you with the results. So if you're okay, I will launch the poll now.
Perfect, I can do it right away. Cool. So whenever the audience gets time, they can really go and answer there, and I will start off now. So I would welcome you all to this presentation, or webinar, or whatever you would like to call, where my intention and goal is to help you get started with the ethical hacking, or software security, or penetration testing, or even a better testing, I would like to call, because even security testing can be hacking itself. And I wouldn't really like to call it as ethical hacking, because you do not call a gun or a weapon saying it's an ethical gun or ethical knife or anything which is ethical, right? So I would like to call it as hacking. So your intention matters, whether you want to steal money from someone, or if you want to steal anything from anyone. It could be data, it could be their identity, by becoming an impersonator, and all this activity. So this we have got very less time and I have got more to talk, but I'm going to focus on some certain things which can really help you to get started and in a simple way, not really like using the tools. You want to use a specific tool or I want to or click a button and I will need all the security bugs. So that's not really possible. And I'm not going to promise you that, okay, you are going to become a great hacker today itself in this presentation, or I'm not telling you you can become better tomorrow or in 2 days. But of course, it's an incremental change. You need to keep practicing. So that without further ado, okay, let me speak about who am I and what was I from age 12 to age 34. I'm 34 now, and I got introduced to computers when I was actually 12, if I can remember. That was a disk operating system, and I was all of this, whatever you see on the screen, a great liar, a thief. I'm not sure, okay, why I'm getting the poll for myself. Uh, I'm sorry. Anyways, so a great liar, a thief, a lockpicker, an infrastructure breaker, web application hacker, mobile apps, social engineering, and everything. Whatever you see on the screen, there are too many things which I can communicate what I was, but some things I'm not going to communicate with you because I want you to think critically about who is Santosh Tuppad. Because in the first point, I speak about a great liar, and then I speak about a thief. And then I speak about all the things like web application hacker, mobile apps, network security, and everything else. Now, if you compare all these pointers with the first one, a great liar, you may ask yourself a question. Is he lying? Or is it all bluffing? Or is this person for real, right? And I wouldn't say that you got to trust me because that's up to you. You can be as skeptical as you want, and you can be doubtful about everything that I speak, or you can trust me and then raise your oxytocin levels in your brain and feel happy about it that you are going to trust me. Now, you may be thinking that, oh, those two poll questions, okay, should I click on the radio button? I would say that, okay, there's a beautiful lesson going forward. If you click on those two, it's an experiment and you will understand a lot of things. So please answer it correctly rather than just saying clicking on something else. So which I wouldn't really appreciate or encourage. Now, before moving forward, you know who is Santosh Tuppad, and you don't even know whether this is a liar or he speaks truth. That's fine. Keep thinking about it. And now I would love to show you a video where you feel entertained and also you feel good about what things you are going to learn and also get your attention towards this. So if we look, we are going to look into a video which is a proof of concept. Now it's fixed, but maybe they opened something else. I'm not sure. So let's start playing the video. Now, what this is going to demonstrate is one of the attack that are not really an attack, but a simple security bug that I discovered, and I actually reported it to the customer, and they fixed it. They were happy about it. But I'm going to show you some things. And before I show you this, I request all of you to keep this information confidential, and please do not speak about it outside if it really is sensitive information, because I do not really like to invite people to cause mess in my life. So I'm doing it for educational purpose and so that you really feel good about learning and do well in cybersecurity industry. So let me start playing this video. Now this is medifee.com, if you see, and I'm going directly to, if you look at the URL here, this was my trial and error. It was a guess. I go and type their uploads. I could type Santosh Tuppad as well, but that wouldn't be a great test data for the URL. I can just type uploads and see whether I'm really lucky enough to get something back. So this is a GET request, of course. Whatever you do it from here, it's not post or head or options or connect HTTP method. So get request, you see that. So this security bug is called as directory listing security bug. Now, directory listing for this website has not been disabled at all, and that's a big problem in applications. This can come in your infrastructure or configuration settings where you did not look into the server settings and you just took the server and deployed it as it is. So that's a big problem. And what could I do with this information? I was curious enough to see what are these files here. Of course, they look very long. If we look into the file names here, all the different digits, maybe these are 2016 could be year, if based on my experience. And you see a lengthy digits here, which can be very hard for someone else to guess. But you know what? I need not guess these file names because I got this whole directory by just typing in uploads. I can click on any of the file and I can download. So moving forward, I click on a specific file here and see whether it really matters to me as a hacker or not. So I go to view source. Now, if you observed, I typed in view -source and then colon. Many people would right click and say, hey, Santosh, I can get it from right click and click on view source. I know it's the right answer, but I would appreciate you to understand different ways of doing something. If you do a right click, maybe the document object model can tell you, hey, look, okay, do not right click is disabled, right? So knowing different things, if you do it from your URL, it may work. Or else if you do it from more options, these 3 vertical dots, and go to developer tools and then click on inspect, that will open your elements tab. There as well, you can look into client-side code. So understand different ways of doing the same thing. So they will always help in different contexts. So going forward, I go to the view source, I copy the whole source code, and I'm using this ninjaoutreach.com for parsing all this text and giving me only the href value, the hypertext reference. So that's the absolute path name. Once I click on load, I get only the href element from anchor tag, which is an A tag. I take this up, copy it, and then you will see that I will also be using a different tool called as grab them all. I'm not using Selenium here. I'm not using all the tools that you speak about in the industry. Oh, I will use Selenium. But your context is just to get me the solution within 2 minutes. And you are telling me, okay, you have to install the Selenium and everything else, and you have to install the dependencies. And as a stakeholder, let's say, okay, I'm a hacker and I can be your stakeholder as well. And I don't like it because you're taking more time, and then you will say, I need to write a code because I don't know Selenium, but I know I can do this from Selenium, right? So which I wouldn't like. Now I'm trying to show you that how knowing the different tools, different freewares, which you can explore. And if you were a kid, I mean, of course you were a kid. I hope that I'm speaking to humans and not the robots, like you get a captcha. So if you had tried downloading all the malwares or going to the different malicious sites and downloading the software so that you could try infecting some computer, then probably you will understand this, because all these softwares that I'm showing you, I was using them in my high school, not even now. So I did not even know that there is something called as hacking or the software. First of all, I mean, software testing or software, there is a job that you can do. So I was just doing it based out of my curiosity. So let me continue playing this. I have copied all those URLs in my TXT. So I did some search and replace as well, where I prefixed the URL, medifee.com, and then I added all these URLs to that. So if we continue, this is the text file. Let me grab this a bit. Now this is the add-on that I'm using, grab them all, right? So I'm going to load the URLs, which is the TXT file, and I'm clicking on the Medifee URLs, select destination directory, because this is going to save all those files, the PDF files, in my local machine. And I'm going to name it something relevant so that tomorrow, if I want to search them, okay, I name it this way rather than just using some shallow way of naming convention. So I click on open. Let's go. Now look at this magic. It's powerful. All these are medical reports. I don't care about the bad request. So if you look here, process 7 out of 235. There are 235 URLs, and all it's doing is going to this page using a GET request and saving those files in my local machine. So if we look into this 1 of 13, the page numbers, every document has 13 pages. Of course, we have some screenshot as well. I don't know why. So this is the way this tool is grabbing it. You can do it from Python or JavaScript or Java or any programming language. But the main thing here is an idea in your brain, not even a tool. So once you have a list of tools, let's say you had this idea and now you want to connect all the wires so that you can make a light bulb turn on. So that's a security bug I wanted to show you here. So I hope, okay, you feel a bit different about hacking now. Okay, all I did was go to uploads because it was a guess. Where can the sensitive data be? It could be in the sensitive file names. It could be slash backups. It could be slash uploads, or it could be slash password manager.txt. We never know about it. So what I would encourage you is the first and foremost thing is the mind. Now, if I can go back to our slides by closing this off, that's a directory listing. It was very simple. And what we learn in this case is I'm not a security tester is not the answer. You are already, if you were to, for instance, I have a slide here, so where it speaks about the inspiration. Thinking like a criminal is the best way to learn hacking. Of course, we all break the laws in different ways. Now, there are safe laws and there are dangerous laws. Something may land you in a jail, something may just make you feel, okay, I can just pay around like few euros or few Indian rupees and I can get out. It's not really a big deal. You, by default, all the movies that you have been watching, of course, they have they have the crime and everything differently, and you are already learning. When I say you are learning, your brain is doing all this work, and I'm sure that you have got a criminal mindset. And if you have a criminal mindset, just think like one. Of course, you do not commit a crime, but this is important to fight against the black hat hackers. Because as a white hat hacker, the biggest problem in the industry is you go there and as a white hat hacker, white hat are the good guys and the black hat are the bad guys. I think it came from Australian Cowboys movie. So what's happening here is one is a lack of education in the industry, and we speak about, oh, we care about security. I think we are a great liars. We are telling people that we are mitigating cross-site scripting. We are mitigating. We use HTTPS. You know what? HTTPS is, I mean, pardon my language, but it's bullshit because HTTPS just stops one kind of attack, like man in the middle probably. And however, you can do different attacks on even on HTTPS as well. But most of your bugs are even in your application code and your API, how you are developing these APIs and what's your API security. And most of you use Postman or and then you say, hey, look, okay, we are doing this security, not actually security, but you are doing functional testing there, saying that this API endpoint works well, this API endpoint works well, but you know what? Some things you're not really doing well. And on that note, I'm going to play one more video and explain how we are going to abuse the API here. For that, let me open. So what I'm going to show you here is one more video, which can be about this exploration, the intrinsic motivation, treasure. So we are going to get the treasure. Let's create the money that doesn't exist. It doesn't even exist on this whole planet. There's no currency for that, right? But of course, we can create the money using the API security bugs. And that one would be my video on the typecast. Okay, just a moment. I will get this going here. Now you see that probably this is blurred a bit because, and don't worry about these dots here because I had to put one more over one more because that was the different part of exercise. So what I do here, I'm on the inkmonk.com. This is the inkmonk. And if you see here, it's blurred, but it's 1,000 rupees. That's my cashback balance. That's the feature that the inkmonk e-commerce website gives to its users. So if I play it, I log in and I'm here. Once I log in, I go to my profile. And if you see here, edit, this is for editing my account settings. And before that, before I show you what I'm going to do, look into this network tab here. Make sure you always keep your developer tools on, or else you won't get to know what else is happening behind the scenes. So open this and I click on edit. So once I click on edit, I see a form. So let me grab this. Let me take it a bit forward. And you will start seeing a form here, and also you see a put request, which is a HTTP method. Oops, sorry, hold on. I need to go a bit back. Yeah, here. So here, you on the UI, user interface, which people love, which users love, but also hackers love this to understand what's being sent in the network tab developer tools versus what's in the UI. So if you see, there are 1, 2, 3, and there is also mobile number, which is empty, 4 fields here. So if we continue playing, and then we open the network tab and go here, once I click on the submit on that form, I get the put request. And in put request, there is a button called as edit and resend here in Mozilla Firefox. I love using Mozilla Firefox. It could be my preference. I'm not going to tell you what you need to use. It's a mindset here. So what I can do is I can click on edit and resend. Once I click on edit and resend, I see that it's a big problem there. And that problem is this one. The request body has these details. Can you see the ID here, 76258, and shipping address ID, and the UTM source is affiliate account is false. And that's a Boolean value because it's a true and false. And if we keep going, I was actually surprised to see this because it's not only those 4 fields which was shown on the user interface, but in the developer tools, it's so many JSON attributes here. If you keep looking and scrolling here, look at that. There are so many, and is blocked is set to false, and moderator phone is null, and total commission earned. And I was interested with this specific part where there is a JSON attribute called as cashback balance. I'm not sure if you can see this, but in the request body here, the mouse pointer, there's a cashback underscore balance is one of the JSON key value. The key is cashback underscore balance and the value is 2000. So once I start doing this, I change it to, look at that, so many zeros. But I don't want it to do that because maybe the ink monk would say, even we don't have so much money in our bank balance. Okay, how could this user have? So as a hacker, I have to be intelligent here in terms of not adding so much. I just need to see even if it can make the API endpoint tampered and just change from 1,000 Indian rupees to 2,000 Indian rupees, which is around 30 euros, 25, 30 euros. So when I play, I remove it back because I don't want to do that. And I just make it 2,000. and I scroll up and I submit the request by clicking on send button there in the Mozilla Firefox. Once this is happening, this is my final level of happiness where it says 200, but I had to confirm. And how do I confirm? By refreshing the page. I refresh the page and I'm just waiting to see here in the corner 2000. Now you see that, okay, how we created from 1000 Indian rupees to 2000. And now I wanted to confirm if I can go to the cart and I can make it 0. Total amount payable is set to 0 here. If you see, it costs 437. So I can keep adding money in my cashback balance by creating the money that doesn't exist and keep buying things without paying anything at all. But if you are a real intelligent hacker, what you need to do is pay some amount. If it's 437 Indian rupees, I would appreciate 450. I'm sorry, not 450, 350 or 400 rupees. So where you get a discount of 37 rupees. So who needs vouchers or who needs coupons or who needs a gift cards? Okay, when you can do this. But I do not encourage you to go ahead and do this. Maybe you can report, but take permission from the customer or take permission from any stakeholder, take permission from the company or wherever you can see these kind of security bugs. But do not go ahead and do these kind of attacks. The reason is because probably you are not so experienced and you will just go there out of happiness and you will click on something, you will change something, and you may bring down the website. You may do something else where it doesn't fit into the law and you are breaking the law. So as I have got experience of around 17 years to 18-year experience, when I started as a kid, I can understand what is not really going to affect the business and how to do it really well and how to tell a company that you are having a security vulnerability or security bug, and then they can fix it even without touching it or even without uh, bringing the business down. So that's about how your APIs can pose a greater risk, and APIs are everywhere. And most of the people just always say functional, 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 because your test cases lure you. They attract you so much. Okay, you just go there. Okay, do this, do that, do this. I mean, I have been saying this for last 10 years, not changed even today. People do these mistakes again and again, even though many people talk about API security, they have to be really done well because that's kind of the brain of your application. So if it stops working, people can tamper with your brain. Of course, you are going to land in big problems. So that was about this API security. So it's so easy to go to your developer tools network tab and look into what's being sent. Whenever you click on submit, there is a request being sent in your network tab. Look into it, click on edit and resend, and look into the JSON request body and even your HTTP headers. But HTTP headers, I'm not going to speak in this because that could be intimidating for you. What you can do is just look into network tab, everyone, and the way to go to the network tab is right click, inspect element, that goes to element. From there, you can go to network tab and look into inspect all this. And when you look into it, whatever is not on the UI and that's in the request body, that's a mismatch. What you got to do is, hey, look, okay, why is there cashback balance here? Can I change it? So I call them as abuse cases rather than use cases because I'm trying to abuse the API here. So you can try this on your applications as well in your company. Go there, open the network tab, click on submit, and then you will know what is missing here. For instance, there was is underscore blocked as well. Now, what can you do with is underscore blocked is change false to true. And what could you do with the ID that I had 7525668 or something? So which you saw here in the network tab. This is the one, the ID 76258. Can I write a Python script or can I write a Java or any language? I'm not focusing on the language here, but the idea. Can I start from 11111 and keep incrementing the value and make is underscore blocked in this request body to true? Can I block all the users? So this is how the hackers think, not just saying, okay, I can do this, I can do that, but focus on the mindset, please, and you will start growing. And it's not about the tool, it's not about your certification, or it's not about what you are trying to do in your company in terms of showcasing the report. So that's what we did. We thought like a criminal, and the best way is to learn hacking. Of course, the criminals are always told to don't do that, don't do this. That's what our parents did. When we were kids, our parents thought this is bad, this is good. But does it work in today's world? It doesn't. I mean, I was the person, okay, who had a black hat mentality because I did not know the laws or anything when I was a kid with a moronic attitude. I was just going there. I was fascinated with the computers. I was fascinated with the command line, and that's the thing. When I was not fascinated with the UI but command line, today I use the command line more. Not just saying, okay, which tool do I use? Okay, does it help me to do this? No, if it doesn't help you to do it, learn how to solve it, because you are just swimming. Okay, maybe you can try to do a dive into it and understand how things work, how your software works, how your application works, how does your sign up work, how does your login work really, and all these things. Now, if I'm moving on to the next thing. So you saw two videos and understood the APIs and understood the trial and error. And your next question would be, but these are just two. Where do I start from in terms of learning or reading or anything? I have an answer for it, but let's wait until we get it. Where are malicious hackers? So if you see, it could be anyone. It could be my grandpa. It could be my grandma. But based on my knowledge, okay, as they don't exist now, I mean, today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove them from the equation, but I'm going to focus on my friends. They could be the malicious hackers, or it could be Mr. Borat, okay, the guy, and it could be the anonymous guy who is here with a mask. And if you see something here, I have blurred this image, and that's me. I could be a malicious hacker. You still don't know me well. And probably you're already trusting me because Santosh Tuppad is a speaker and we have seen his LinkedIn profile. Maybe I'm going to attack you all after 5 years from now. And this plan has been crafted 10 years back. And I am doing all this to attack or get what benefits me after 5 years, right? So please do not give out information to the people, malicious hackers. And am I a malicious hacker? Now you must be thinking, am I or am I not? That's up to you. Be skeptical. Now we will start how I started. Well, you already know, okay, how I started and what I do and everything, and where you can get started as well. But that's a slide which will start now. When I was 12, the disk operating system, it was all black and white, and I used to play Prince of Persia, the black and white. And from there, when I used to play the games like Need for Speed as well, which was a fun race, if I can remember, black and white. And my brain used to think like ahead in terms of, if I do this, where will my enemy come from? In this level or the next level, or what can I do? What are the moves from my enemy with a sword in the Prince of Persia game? It was not the high definition game, of course, monochrome computers. I mean, the displays. So what I started doing was I started this exercise in my brain in terms of thinking where else I can go from, where else the enemy can come from, where are the bugs, right? So if I can talk about the game, it helped me to understand which I can use today. But I never knew. When I was 12, I did not know there is something called as a software industry. First of all I was doing was getting fascinated and playing and being curious. That's what I was doing when I was 12. And today I connected back to, it's just like connecting the dots, connected back to when I was 12 and 16, because that's when I got to know there is something beautiful called as internet. And you need to know that, okay, if something is beautiful, it also comes up with some of the devilish things inside itself. And those could be the hacking the internet itself. When I say hacking the internet, when I was 16, I had to get the subscription at my home. And when I had to get my subscription at home, I had to pay for the subscribe amount, which was like around 500 rupees or something. Those days that was really big amount. And I don't want it to go to the internet parlors or internet cafes where I pay for every hour. So what my first hack was to hack the dial-up networking connection credentials. And that's where my journey started from. And my need was to get the subscription, and that's where I started hacking. And what I used to do was, from my home, I used to connect with my telephone line, the wires, the telephone jack, to my computer, and that's how we used to connect to the internet, by using the dial-up connection with that jittery sound, like which makes a noise like krr, krr, krr. That was, I miss that sound even today, because that's where my journey started from. And after hacking, I used to use the dial-up connection during the night. I used to open the window of my home, and I used to see that shop being closed at 10 o'clock in the night. And whenever their shop used to get closed, I used to run my shop by connecting to the internet. Now I was an evil kid, and I'm not sure whether I'm still evil or not. Should you trust me? I will leave it to you. Because even though whether you trust me or not, you're still going to judge me, no matter how much good I speak about myself, or how much bad I'm going to speak about myself. So that's an exercise for you. Whether you trust me or don't trust me, I I want you to be skeptical. And when I did that, when I was 16, I got the internet. You know how? And I got addicted to the IRC. IRC is a old school, and some people still use it. Even I use it sometimes on channels like operating systems or security, or such kind of channels. But those days, I got addicted to the internet relay chat. That's what the IRC stands for. And got addicted so much, I started advertising my channel to get more visitors to my channel. So that was a real addiction. I would do anything. I started writing the bots as well. They are called as egg drops in the IRC world. Egg drops are the robots which can be used to invite other people, making them feel like, hey, look, I'm a human being. We can chat here, or try to send some messages where they get lured, and then they join your channel. So that's where my hacking journey started. So if I can summarize, it was my curiosity, getting fascinated with the things, and really learning how something works underneath, and then trying to do it with the day-to-day lives by lying to my mother. She used to think I was telling truth. I would speak like an expert liar. An expert liar is the one where someone cannot tell whether this person is lying or not. And my mother, even today, she tells me that even on your face, I couldn't see that you were lying. I don't know how, but I can connect it. That's a great skill I got, maybe by not really practicing, but it was inside me. Maybe thanks to my grandfathers or mothers or genetics or anything. So that's where it started from. And then I started getting picked by web application, mobile apps, and even the mobile phones as well, if you have to focus on the hardware hacking. But that's all later. The greatest hacks are in simple things, in social engineering, right? Now, social engineering, I have a little, but I think it's a long story, but I will make it in 30 seconds or 1 minute. So I was going to the shop where I wanted to buy some chocolates, and I used to go multiple times and say, well, in India, during that age, we used to call every shopkeeper as uncle or auntie for any shopkeeper. So I went there, uncle, can I get some chocolate? I used to keep a 50 paisa, which is half of 1 rupee, 1 Indian rupee, and that person used to give me a chocolate. And then next day I do the same thing. That person started giving me chocolate. And the third day I go there, and that person thinks that I'm a regular customer, and he tells me, Santosh, you know what? Okay, you can just take it from there. You can keep the money there. At this point, I knew that he was trusting me a lot. And then I used to take the chocolate, and get to get a bigger trust from his side, what I did was I took a chocolate, one chocolate, and then showed it to him by calling him, Uncle, here is one chocolate. Show it to him, because his brain is trusting me more, saying that this kid is a good kid. He is not going to commit any crime or take a lot of chocolates or anything like that. So what I did on the fourth day, when there were more people, the traffic was more. If I can speak about, if I can use what we use in our software industry or in the other context. So I went there when he was busy. I said, Uncle, I need 5 chocolates. I gave him 2 rupee 50 paisa or 3 Indian rupees, and then the first iteration is take handful of chocolates and fill my pockets, when he was turning somewhere else because he was busy serving other customers. And I fill 2 pockets of mine, and then I pick 5 chocolates and again do the same thing. Uncle, 5 chocolates here, and I'm keeping the money here. So he started trusting me, because the bottles, the jars used to be really big, and it was really hard for him to count it every day. So now that's the thing about the social engineering. So how I would define is raising the oxytocin levels of a person, and finally causing them a stress. That's how the brain works. And that was my social engineering. And I have been always a freak whenever someone speaks about social engineering, because most of the attacks happen there. Even when you go to a Stack Overflow and talk about your firewall, maybe you are just asking a question, how do I configure so and so firewall on Stack Overflow or any discussion forum? And the hacker does this profiling by going everywhere. And if you are speaking about some firewall, and if you are really anxious to get an answer, the hacker knows that in that specific company, you are working on that firewall, or your company is using so and so firewall. And and who will help that? LinkedIn, social media, right? Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, or anything that you are putting your information on. I'm not saying that you should stop putting the information, but do your due diligence before you go and put something else somewhere. And also think about how a hacker can do this. So I always appreciate criminals, and also, I mean, to learn from them. Not that, okay, I appreciate them doing something, and I watch different series on. It could be a border security force or anything. So we went there, and here. So summarizing this, we know that reading documentation is one thing which is must. If I ask this question, okay, what's the maximum length of an email address? You would just say, oh, well, it cannot be more than 50 characters, but can you be really sure to tell me it cannot exceed so many characters based on W3C standards, which is your World Wide Web Consortium? And that's the maximum limit. And we don't read documentation from W3C or RFC documents, which is request for comments, I guess. Yeah, we do not, because we are constantly bombarded with things in our organization, and we are like, oh, I don't have time. I will tell you, you have time only when you start getting a bit passionate about what you do and what you learn. And without that, you are falling into the routine, which will become a disease going forward. And then someday after 10 years, you are going to say, I don't know why I didn't do it. So if you don't want to see that day, start practicing from today, and the study, hard work, and the discipline. So that's what you got to do, and you have to do it for your own integrity. You can always say, you know what, I just get paid so much, that's why I don't do these things. But maybe you are getting $1 billion feeling within you when you learn things. And that's a beautiful thing with the kids. The kids read a lot of books, they learn, because the brain is is fresh. Once this adult brain is so busy, we stop learning. We are busy with many other things which are nonsense actually. And on that note, I think you need to read a book called as The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson, I guess. And that book can help you where to focus your energy. At least that helped me as well. But even before that, even I was thinking in a similar fashion where I was not really caring about it. But this book I read recently, and it's really good. I really got that feeling where uh, people may get benefits out of it. So that's reading books. And then I speak about the Visual Studio logo here, which means coding. Many people speak about, I need to automate. No, first is the knowledge. First is to understand how your software works. And then you're using the coding skills to help yourself and be productive or to reduce the time because the machines are powerful and humans are powerful with their brain, right? And then also thinking skills. That's our third one. So where it could be about lateral thinking, critical thinking, or the six hats of thinking by Edward de Bono, the author name, and cognitive thinking or any kind of thing which helps in your profession or for yourself to be happy. And also going to the meetups, conferences, and learning from people or brilliant speakers there or brilliant people who could be the participants. And do not forget to exercise. We may always think, okay, I don't want to exercise, but you know what? I learned it as well. I used to not do it, but I learned to do it. I go on a walk when I have to solve some coding exercise, and that's how it works. And then you could become anonymous, or you could become a good person, good hacker. Now, learn hacking is what I would tell, and you are responsible for whatever you become. And I do not encourage you to become a black hat hacker at this stage and then become a ninja, right? So this is what you could do. And the demon, you got this, and thank you, Trident and women who test. And please take a screenshot of this, no matter what, because if you take this screenshot, okay, follow these people, brilliant people, and get inspired. But for that, okay, you need to open the doors and the windows to get inspired. If you are closed, you cannot learn from anyone. First, being teachable is the best thing to do. Cool. And you can contact me no matter what, if you want to learn something, do something. But on that note, my presentation here ends, but I would like to show you the last one. And here it is. We could go to this and learn from cheat sheet series. This is the OWASP, the last one which we had. Oops, here, cheatsheetseries.oasp.org. If you are confused, go here, and every idea is a test idea, or you may call it as a test case, whatever you call. Go and understand. Go to YouTube, go to a different documentation, read about it, and that's the main thing where you need to start from and become evil for learning. Think about different things like you are going to the ATM counter where you are withdrawing the money. Okay, think about where can be the loopholes, or you're entering the apartment, you're opening the door with the RFID. Think crime everywhere. So I will stop my speech here or my talk, and I'm open for questions now.
Santosh, we had run a poll at the beginning, right? So the results are here. So the first question was, what's your password range on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn? So there were four options, which was like 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, and more than 20. Yeah. So the results are like this. So 33% of them states that it's 5 to 10. So 60% of the people state that it was 10 to 15. So there is, and 7% of people state it is 15 to 20, and 0% state it's more than 20.
Cool. Okay, this is great, and I would like to comment on this. And I'm not sure why do people take such polls. The reason is I understand what's your password length? If it's 5 to 10, I think I'm very much sure that, okay, it ends with a digit for most of all, because that's a topology that most of the people fall into. And if you fall into that, what I would do is, if it's like 8 characters, I will ask more questions. So what I'm trying to do here is social engineering. And initially I told you, okay, it's an experiment, but you never know, because now you know that, okay, you don't know whether you can trust the system or not. So be careful and do not reveal your password length to anyone. Don't even say I use password managers. So if you said yes or no, that's still an answer which is going to help a malicious hacker. So if you're using a password manager, the hacker can think probably this person is using a longer password. And if you're not using it, probably you are vulnerable. Doesn't mean that, okay, someone who's using it is good, someone who's not using it is bad, because now I do not want to give my information whether I use it or not. I don't want to. So that's why I would act like a straight face guy. Cool. So be careful with the social influence, and that's where the most of the hacks happen from. And the Pvt series, which is OWASP, Open Web Application Security Project. It's a non-charitable community organization, 501c, Europe. I mean, globally as well, we need to use it. And there's a checklist. That's just a checklist. If we go beyond it, please. Oh, Shruti, do we have questions?
Not yet, Santosh. Your audience, you can post your questions on the questions tab. So any questions are welcome.
Or else I can show you one more video.
So Santosh, I have got a question. Yeah. Thank you for your intrinsic motivation on security testing. So yeah, as in terms of getting started this as a career. So how can someone get started with this from their initial point? Like there might be many people who are not into security testing yet. So what would be the step for them to get started with that? Yeah, as you said, intrinsic thought was one, yes, but apart from that, what would be the prerequisites or the requisites which they would need for getting started with security testing?
I think, okay, practicing to be as much as you want to be. That's a prerequisite, first thing.
Okay.
And once you are, and the information on the web, finding the information on the web is not a big deal. I mean, I can really sound like an expert and give you a list of all the things, and then you will keep following the same thing. You wouldn't explore. We call exploratory testing, but often what we do is we learn instructions. So if you really want to reach there, one thing is start thinking crime, which I spoke about, and be evil as much as you want, but don't read on paper. It's only for your brain, which is like a food for your brain. And also look into different tools, security testing tools. If you go and search on Google, I think you will get many. And I still don't understand why people ask in discussion forums, can I please know the security testing tool? Learn from any security testing tool, because all the different tools are like checkers which will give you different information, and use all of it. For instance, okay, if someone is asking me what happens with how can I start with a social engineering, first thing is, did you even go and search somewhere is the question. OSINTframework.com, which stands for Open Source Intelligence Framework. You go here, how to build a profile of a specific person. It could be a dating website or the IP address. Based on the IP address, there are so many free tools, and also commercial tools as well. The free tools, there are many. Mobile emulation, metadata. Okay, if you want to identify from which computer this image was put on web, you can do it from EXIF tools, or by knowing all the metadata. So there are many zillion number of tools on the web. So if you need it, it doesn't give you a hacker, but it helps you implement your idea. what your idea is about. So start looking into the ATMs, like I told, ATMs, go to the ATMs, apartments, go to your office. How many people do a tailgating and how many of us report? We don't report. We see a crime, but we do not report with the tailgating. And we walk in and we are very laid back. We just swipe and we say, oh, you can just walk in, no worries. I'm a friend of this person. You let that person in, and maybe that person takes the hard disk or the server and runs away. Now, this is not about software security, but this, of course, add to your overall security of your company, be it application, network, or be it your infrastructure and all this. So please look into the cheat sheet is about the software security where there is a web application and mobile apps. So start from there. And there are many books by Kevin Mitnick as well. If you search on books, don't directly go to Metasploit or Kali Linux or anything. They are the distributions. If you do not have an idea, using these tools will just give you a report. And if there is a recession, you will be the person, okay, who will get laid off because you cannot really think like a hacker, but only use the tools because there are many people who use tools, and you are one among them. So many things. Cheat sheet series has got a lot of it. Like I showed you on the OWASP, please go to OWASP and start reading. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, there's one more question which states that is there any way to get to know that phishing is not happening on any site? Like we go and input the data to some site, so we are not sure if the phishing is happening or not. So how to identify is the question.
How to identify phishing, you mean? Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Like for
Phishing
example, for example, in
go
any
ahead.
information online site where they ask for your Aadhaar card details or your personal details, so without providing that, you will not be able to proceed. So how to get to know if that phishing is not happening in that site?
The screen that you are seeing now will help with different utilities. How to build a profile or the phishing emails, okay, where your information is, you can try to do that as well. That's one reason how this plagiarism, wherever there is your duplicate data, helps you identify where else is your picture and all this. I'm not sure, okay, if that was the question. How to identify phishing? It's hard to identify. You can identify it only if you visit the websites. You can identify by talking to people, and you can identify if you are writing a kind of notes for your life in terms of who did I meet before 1 year, what happened before 1 year, and this person did not like me, and who was a hacker there? Okay, was this person a techie, or was this person a friend of a techie? So there are so many pointers, just like a FBI movie or CIA, where there is a person, okay, who is drawing on a board, where connecting all the different dots. That's how we get to know the phishing emails. I mean, phishing concepts. And phishing emails, be careful. You check the headers of the phishing emails, where you go to the details of the, I mean, metadata and the headers as well. That's where you get to know whether this was sent from womenwhotest.com or something else, because people can use a spoofed email addresses. I can try to impersonate as someone else. Maybe it could be Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, but using a Steve Jobs name wouldn't help here because people have the information. So how to use something which is relevant in today's date. Yeah.
Okay. There is one more question where it states that how to perform security question on OTT apps.
OTP.
OTT.
OTT is, what are your full forms? I'm a fan of full forms.
It's the over-the-top applications.
I don't understand what does over the top.
Yeah, it's used for delivering the videos or on the smartphones or tablets or TV. So OTT applications.
Okay, so this is something to do with the video.
Yes.
One thing that I can think of here is UDP and TCP packets. If you are looking into it, if you are looking into how to really approach a video itself, then there is a TCP and UDP packets. Mostly for the videos, people use UDP packets because you can end up in losing some of the packets. It's fine, but TCP packets, okay, where it's a high risk applications where you do not want to use even a packet. In the videos, people can lose it, or sometimes in the audios as well. Some people use that. For that, you can use Wireshark. Wireshark is a tool. I don't like really using the tool word. Wireshark is a software which will help you, because in the industry, everyone is about tool. And I'm getting confused actually. What is that you want to achieve? Wireshark, this is the one which helps you inspect the frames, packets, and the data. It could be in bits and bytes. At the first time when you start opening this software and use it on your computer, you will get scared. You will get intimidated. Oh, what is this? I don't know how to use this. Maybe I'll close this and uninstall this software. But trust me, this is a person. This is like a person, Wireshark, or a shark itself, which will help you when someone is trying to punch you. So it just goes back to the Mike Tyson law, right? Everybody has a plan, okay, until when someone tries to punch in your mouth and you start crying like a baby. So invest your time in learning this Wireshark, and the videos is one. And if you are using the APIs for My Profile or different features, which is a web application, you have all the security checklist. And for the security checklist, if you want to work on, look into this AS 4.0 by OWASP. This sheet has at least around 200 requirements. And these 200, do you even have a security requirements for your applications? The first question. If you go to Application Security Verification Standard 4.0 by Andrew, I think there are many other contributors as well, but Andrew is the lead, I guess. Before, I think even Jim Manico was there. And you can go here, take all of it from the Excel spreadsheet and see which applies to our software. Does it work? Does it not work? And also start asking questions with respect to proactive controls. All you got to do is go to, if you can see this control here, these are OWASP top 10 proactive controls. Take it from OWASP website and send an email to your developers or the product owner or anyone else saying, hey, look, are we really focused? I mean, do we have a focus on security requirements? All you need to do is have a question. Are we doing query parameterization? Are we encoding data and escaping dangerous characters? Are we doing input validation, sanitizing, and blah, 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 blah. And finally, the first question can be, first of all, are we having security requirements? If we don't have it, there's no point of testing for security, I tell you. Yeah. I mean, if that's a high level answer, but I don't know how much context with the video. But if a person can write to me, we can surely speak about it in a deeper way.
There are many other questions, Santosh, but we are short of time. I'll forward you all the questions. Maybe you can, reply to that, and we'll forward the, reply for the person who has, asked the Santosh.
Yeah.
It was very informative and educational session. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for inviting me on this. And all I expect from this webinar is people going back and thinking crime and reading a lot and writing, even if you want, and talking to other people. And even talk to the people, okay, who were black hat hackers before, because they have the knowledge, what you need, the white hat hacker. Not to the real ones, because they are anonymous, they will come in front of you. Yeah, cool. I'm done. I talk a lot.
Thank you, Arnandis. Thank you for your time. We welcome your suggestions and feedbacks. So kindly reach out to us on the Slack channel, that is WWT Bangalore Slack channel. So any questions, we'll forward it to Santosh and we'll try to get the reply back to you. So thank you for your time. Thank you all.